My name is Michelle Coolidge, and today I will discuss the article Reinventing Middle School Using Design Thinking, Managing a Reform at an Independent School by Elizabeth Gray and Rebecca Lowenhaupt, 2021. This case study is an example of how a new middle school head teacher engaged the community stakeholders to inspire and enact change within the school. The Board of North Country Day, or NCD, was looking for a way to ensure the long-term viability of the school that had been the second choice for upper grades in the area due to its cozy and intimate lower school environment that felt stifling at the 7th and 8th grade levels. The school needed a change and hired new middle school head teacher Karen Hogan to lead the change they sought. Karen had recently completed training in design thinking from the Nueva School Design Thinking Institute and committed to using design thinking protocol to enact change at NCD. The design challenges that Karen faced were as follows: structural issues including staffing, physical space, and scheduling; curricular issues that included updates and reforms to academic offerings, advisory, arts and language electives, and athletics. Karen also knew she needed to engage stakeholders in her quest for change by helping them do the following: seeing the need for reform, needing to increase the enrollment, bringing in additional faculty, and shifting aspects that teachers felt personally responsible for; making the process transparent, acknowledging that a top-down mandate would likely not be widely accepted by staff, and depersonalizing the problem-solving process to address the staff's connection to the current curriculum; promising a strong program, engaging the community in the change process, allowing time to work through the change process before implementation, and being aware of the need to reflect and make adjustments along the way. This infographic is an example of the design process that I got from the board that I work for, Rocky View School Division here in Alberta. I have used this model for designing curricular activities for my students with design from local experts. In their article, Gray and Lowenhaupt describe how Karen and her leadership team worked through the first 4 stages: empathize, define, ideate, and prototype. When the stakeholders at NCD worked through the empathizing stage, they collected data through interviews with parents, middle school students at each grade level, and grade 8 students and parents specifically. Once they finished with the empathizing stage, they moved on to define the problem and creating a needs assessment to determine what they were looking to accomplish at this stage. Karen included all faculty members to review the data using faculty meeting time. She also created mixed-level academic discipline teams to brainstorm what they wanted and needed the most out of a new 6 to 8 middle school program. Then they took all of this information and curated a needs statement based on the key ideas of all the stakeholders. The ideate stage then had Karen and the staff create task forces focused on particular areas and burning questions. All of the task force members were volunteers, and Karen acknowledged that staffing was one of the most complicated components of this phase. She did not want to discount those who could not commit to the time outside of school hours, so she embedded some time into the schedule. However, this was a barrier that she felt was relevant during this stage. During the prototype stage, the design team developed a basic model that was shopped around to the board, parents, alumni, and current faculty and staff, gathering feedback from the users, and then turning it into a concrete plan to be implemented for the following year. One key factor to note here is that the planning was all being developed to implement the following year, allowing the stakeholders time to work through the process without attempting to implement it at the same time. As decisions were made, they were revisited every few months. Gray and Lowenhaupt referred to this as a living cycle of school program renewal. Leadership challenges and solutions. The primary challenge for Karen, as Gray and Lowenhaupt stated, was how to engage others in decision-making, keeping the school running and students and families trusting while envisioning substantial reforms, and balance the collective process with the need to influence the outcome. Gray and Lowenhaupt identified the following challenges and solutions to the leadership dilemmas that Karen faced. The school was championed in the area as the best kept secret. I would argue that there were not major concerns with the school's commitment to its mission, which would make the proposed change more of a challenge. Engaging the faculty required a depersonalization of the process. Karen accepted that there would be no easy solutions. Karen acknowledged that faculty involvement was crucial, though could often lead to the paralysis of the process of change. Karen had to rely on faculty involvement, and most of that was on a voluntary basis. Though she was aware of how this could be exclusionary to those who could not commit to time outside of school, which is a challenge implementing in the real world of schools. Solutions. Gray and Lowenhaupt reported that Karen provided multiple opportunities for feedback throughout the process. One option she proposed was to disagree with consent to proceed, which prioritized momentum through the process. Karen reminded the faculty that the process of design thinking was an ongoing process of trying things out, observing how they went, and continuing to make change. Karen also had to find a balance between trusting the process and stakeholders involved in shaping the outcome that she wanted. As mentioned previously, Karen also depersonalized the process to allow for growth and change from all stakeholders, including beloved veteran teachers on staff. I would like to add my personal comments here also. Karen was a practical and engaged leader. She was committed to the change process and using design thinking protocol. However, she also recognized that she needed to steer the change in a particular direction. Gray and Lowenhaupt stated that Karen crafted a design thinking process embedded in the practical realities and constraints of her context. Process-oriented leadership practice is what this protocol states. It incorporates multiple stakeholders in decision-making. It engages stakeholders in gathering and interpreting data. It provides clear steps and narrows the gap between research and practice. Having used this process in developing projects and units for my students, I can see how the design thinking process would be a meaningful, engaging way when looking to reform other educational practices. I'd be interested to see how this would be implemented if there were a larger school, or even within a school division with multiple school sites. I think it would have to be further adjusted, as Karen found in her context, to allow for a wider demographic. But I argue that it would deepen the engagement in the change process within the school if there were staff members involved in mandates being developed by the school division. On this slide, you will find a few questions and activities that Gray and Lowenhaupt proposed to do a deeper dive in this process. I selected these questions based on the content that we have already covered in this course. Thank you for watching my video.